Perfect. So you have indoor plumbing.
Indoor plumbing.
And you have internet?
Oh, yeah. I'm just...
Okay.
I'm living the high life. It's
All
a
right.
nice part of town.
Oh, where's that? What part of town?
North, and I'm north and I'm west of here.
Are you in Beverly Hills?
I'm still in Pico Robertson, but
Oh,
the
okay.
nicer parts of Pico Robertson.
Okay.
And not as many gangbangers around.
All right, so that's good. And so, and then next week you move into your more permanent establishment.
Yeah, I
Okay.
get down market again.
All right, so now let's talk about. Oh, by the way, before I do anything else, 20 minutes in, I haven't even had a chance to say it, but today is Columbus Day, so big shout out, Happy Columbus Day, everybody, and big shout out to all of our friends from the Italian persuasion. It's like their big day, you know. It's like the big party day for Italians. They feel, you know, this is a big deal for them, and it's like Italian pride. Just want to mention that my family is spent 1,300 years in Italy.
Yeah.
Your family spent 1,300 years in a jail in Australia. Yeah?
I think we're actually free settlers. I don't believe my ancestors were convicts.
Oh, really? Okay. Mine were booted out of Italy in about 1520. Okay, so there's that. So this is that. And I went into a rant last week. I went into a rant last week, and I just wanted to say it again, that the Columbus Day has special significance for Jewish people. That on Tisha B'Av, which is like always the worst things happen on Tisha B'Av, right? The temples were destroyed on Tisha B'Av. On Tisha B'Av in 1492, so that's when the beginning of the Spanish Inquisition took place. The very next day, Christopher Columbus took 3 ships and headed off for America.
A bunch of Ralph's bags.
With a bunch of Ralph bags. You know, I bet you they did a better job hitting their target than you did.
Wouldn't take much.
Okay. So it's brought down, the Torah says that when God makes a disease or an ailment, before he even starts the ailment, he creates the cure. So before the Inquisition started, we see that the cure is America.
Before my bowel started rumbling, there was the
Right.
Ralph's bag in my hovel just waiting to be used.
How does that work? Because the Inquisition was basically the Jews are getting kicked out by some society in Europe that didn't care for Jews, and they wanted us out, and we needed a safe haven to go to, and so America was created, both directly and indirectly. Why? Because directly, it's possible that Christopher Columbus's ships contained Jews trying to escape the Inquisition. It's totally possible because there were Jews leaving that day in the same harbor. So even if the ships didn't contain Jews, they surely saw Jews on boats heading off and getting the hell out of there the same day. So there's that. So it's possible the Jews were on the boats trying to get the hell out of there. So this was a direct haven for Jews escaping the Inquisition. But even if it wasn't, even if it wasn't a direct haven for Jews, nevertheless, indirectly, because in America later on, when the Pilgrims came here and later they established the United States of America, it became the haven for Jews who were being persecuted all over the world, whether it was during the times of the Nazis or the pogroms in Europe or the Soviets and what have you, anywhere, or now in the Muslim countries. Wherever you have Jews being persecuted, they can come to a safe haven, which is the United States of America. That happened solely because of Christopher Columbus finding this place. So a Jew, this is a big day for a Jew. So when a Jew should feel good and realize that this is a gift from God, the Columbus Day, we're celebrating that God has given to us a safe haven for Jews to be in. When a Jew says, I don't want to celebrate Columbus Day because we kicked out, what do they always say? We kicked out the indigent people. How can I feel good about this day? We need to change the name. What you're doing by condemning the day is you're spitting in the face of God's gift. God has given to you a gift of Columbus Day. And as a Jew, he's given you America, and you're saying, I don't care, I don't want it, I hate what God has given us. Okay, so if you hate God's gift, you hate being here in America, you hate this, what God has given for you, then leave. Get the hell out of America, you unappreciative, spoiled brat. And that, my friends, is my vort on that. Any comment?
Yeah, I think I'm going to contact Ralph's to offer to do a commercial for them. See, this large Ralph's bag is color appropriate, biodegradable, and makes a great emergency toilet.
Very good. All right. All right, so there's that. So you want to talk about anything about Columbus, or you want to just move on to the next thing?
Well, Prager said, Dennis Prager on his radio show today said that Christopher Columbus and the other explorers were very brave and that they did something great. And so he thinks Christopher Columbus rocks, and I guess so do I.
Because you have no brain of your own. Very good. Oh, but again, you're a thinker and an intellectual because you're able to listen to the radio and process information and repeat it properly.
Also able to process raw roads.
All right, so we just passed by a holiday this last week. It was called Yom Kippur. It's the most holy holiday of the Jewish calendar. It's a time of great holiness for the Jewish people. And Levi, how was your Yom Kippur? Want to enlighten us?
I went to a Chabad shul and I found it interesting because it's quite different from like most other synagogues in that you don't need a ticket to go to Yom Kippur or Rosh Hashanah services at a Chabad shul. So that sets it apart. Also, there's two very different crowds at a Chabad shul on Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. They're the hardcore, the Babachers, who are, on Yom Kippur dressed in a kettle and, they know their way through the Machzor and they're there for hours. And a lot of them are just like really into it. And it's a very upbeat day. Like, as a goy, I thought of Yom Kippur as like a really down day. But every Yom Kippur service I've been to is very upbeat. It's like it's triumphant, like we're getting forgiveness for our sins and we're making a new start and we're turning our back on ways that we failed God and we're creating better lives. It's like a really triumphant day. And so that's different. Also, there are so many people who will wander into a Chabad service who aren't religious and they'll be wearing jeans, sometimes they'll be checking their cell phones. They'll just come in for half an hour, they want to hear the shofar. Like you can see they're like bored out of their minds. Like fathers like trying to get their sons to behave and keep a yarmulke on their heads, and it's just a very different crowd than say the modern Orthodox shuls that I'm used to, where everyone's dressed up and proper, and no one would dream of going in jeans, and everyone's had to buy a ticket. So that was interesting. But what gets me is that I was reading Rabbi Beryl Wein, and I've read other people say the same thing, that coming down from the great spiritual highs of Yom Kippur, we now have Sukkot, which makes us get back in touch with like the earthly component of life, and to build a sukkah, to build a booth, and to decorate it, and to observe Sukkot. It's much more physical. It's not just this spiritual transcendent high. I've never had huge highs on Yom Kippur. To me, it's always been a difficult day, and there have been moments where there have been times, of uplift, and there have been spiritual highs, but I would never describe it as shattering spiritual highs, or I'm not sure it's even as much as you get if you go to a church on a typical Sunday, where there's a lot of talk about the next world, and there's a lot of that sort of transcendent talk, and there are a lot of spiritual highs if you go to a church, because they really deal in spiritual highs, while Judaism is much more about hard work. So I was just curious for you, have you experienced these shattering spiritual highs on Yom Kippur, and was this year one of shattering spiritual highs for you? I'd have to say the answer is no.
Oh yeah, but can I pipe in on something?
Yeah.
Okay, you talked about Chabad and that they don't charge money.
Right.
However, we've got to clarify what they do instead. They don't charge you for a ticket, let's say. They don't have it's like at the door. Did you buy your ticket?
Right.
And they let you in without a ticket, but they make up for that money. Why? Because halfway through the davening, all of a sudden they take an hour and there's a big auction.
Yeah.
And they sell all of the honors.
Yeah.
Right? Which in my mind is a big turnoff. I think that's in bad taste. Suddenly, everyone has to be what's called a triach zibor. A matriach zibor is when you burden the congregation and you take up their time. You take up people's time with something that